Good morning. Excuse me. To get myself set up in the plane here. That's pretty close. Alrighty. We're in Sierra Vista, Arizona. I was stationed here many years ago now. And there's a Army base here called Fort Huachuca. I spent a year of my life here in 1973. And so we're going to fly from Sierra Vista to Benson and then over to Cochise County. And before we go flying, I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things that have come up in excuse me. A couple of things that have come up both in the explain.org forums and also in the Microsoft Flight Simulator forums about touch controllers. They call them hand controllers. I call them touch controllers. It is the controllers that come with a VR headset. I am currently using an HP Reverb G2, but I am using a Valve Index controllers. So the advantage that I have is my controllers can be on my hands at all times while I'm using a yoke. And so I can actually turn my yoke on, and I'm basically touching the edges of my yoke. This controller's touching this side, this controller's touching this side. And so that's really handy, so that I can, for instance, I can come down here, I can hit all these switches, because I'm basically underneath my yoke. My yoke is physically right here. This is the top of my yoke, and this is the bottom of my yoke. So, I'm basically underneath my yoke, and where I'm sitting right now is actually in front of my desk. And so, how I have the virtual cockpit positioned, it allows me to clearly hit everything in this cockpit without hitting anything physical other than the yoke itself, you know. So I can turn it off, but it's still there. I can still hit it. The discussion has been, currently Microsoft Flight Simulator uses a mouse, and I just find that unfulfilling. I have been using VR and X-Plane for over 3 years now. I've been streaming VR X-Plane for over a year. So I do come at this from some level of experience. So these are some things that I just wanted to go over before I go flying, as to how X-Plane has set up VR controls, and it seems to work quite well. So if I come over here towards my flap, when I come close to it, it lights up. The other thing that happens is I feel it in my touch controller. I can actually feel that touch controller, just the slightest movement, you know, so I can tell when I hit it. So anything that has anything you can turn, like so that's the button on the front, that's a little knob, that's a big knob. As soon as I touch them, I can feel that. The other thing is, like say on knobs, when I turn the knob, I don't know how well you guys can hear that in the stream, but you can hear it tick, 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 tick. You can hear that in your headset, just like a real knob, just like the knob's going click, 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 click. Also, the touch controller is doing the same thing. The other thing that you can do is we'll say that this knob, when you rotate, so there's an adjustment that on how much rotation you do and how much the knob actually moves. So so that is also something that's configurable in X-Plane in the same way as all these switches. So whenever I hit one, I feel it in the touch controller. So, and to me, that's like really important. So whenever there's something you can do, it lights up. Just hit my yoke. So all this lights up whenever there's something that you can do in VR. Same way as my trim wheel. Move my trim wheel down. Move my trim wheel up. And I can feel it. And also I can feel the controller. When I'm moving it, it's just rattling just a little bit. So it lets me know that I've actually moved it. So, okay, I think that's it for kind of how touch controllers are configured. How VR controllers are configured in X-Plane. So the other thing I wanted to go over is related to Reality Expansion Pack. There's been some confusion as to there's like a little message window that shows up to let you know that there's something wrong in Reality Expansion Pack. And so I'm gonna just turn on the power. So when I turned on the power, there's this bar that showed up. And this bar is attached to my headset. So if I bring the touch controller close to it, you can see that bar lights up. The top part of that bar lights up. So if I light it up and pull the trigger, I have a hold of it. Now it is free of my headset and I can put it where I want. Where I put this little message on the Cessna 172 is right here. So I put it right here. Now, so basically it says you did not remove the shock, so you're not able to taxi, and I had turned the power on. So I'm going to turn the power off. So after some period of time, that message should basically disappear. I hope. Yes. So the message actually disappeared, but it's still there. You see? So basically what happened is the window remains. It's basically transparent. So what happened is in rep is no longer writing to it. So it basically is not, it's not in your way. If you choose to ignore the message, then it will be in your way. Now, I wanted to test one other thing, because there was an issue where if I tried to make it the window, no. Okay. That has been removed. It used to be you could actually change the size of the window, but Claudio has removed that, so you can't change it. So you can move it, but you can't change the size of it. What would happen is if you change the size of it, the fonts would get screwed up, and so that was kind of like a bad thing. So we'll make sure this goes away. Okay, so that is absolutely, that's how that's supposed to work. I just wanted to, before I go too far, I just wanted to make sure that I went through that. So, okay, I think we got pretty much, that was what I wanted to cover before I go anywhere. So, So let's see if we can
2 brakes. Test and set. 3 fuel selector. Both. 4 fuel shut-off valve. On, in. 6 beacon. On. 7 avionics switch. Off. 8 master switch. On. 9 throttle. Open 1/4 inch. 10 mixture. Idle cut off. A auxiliary pump. On. B mixture. Rich until 3 to 5 GPH then cut off. C auxiliary pump. Off. 12 starter. Engage. 1 ignition switch. Start. 2 mixture, at engine start. Rich. 3 engine.
So it was telling me that I still had shocks hooked up and I started the engine. So what I did was I basically disabled the shocks. So get the power up a little bit more here.
RPM 1000 RPM.
There we go.
4 oil pressure. Check. 5 mixture. Lean max. 6 flaps. Retract. 7 avionics.
So I got to cheat a little bit. I forgot to put fuel in this thing. And that won't let, since the plane's running, rep won't let me do this, but I'll do it here. Excuse me. So I'll put like 3 hours of fuel in here. That should be good. Oh, I gotta turn the avionics on.
On. 8 instruments.
So, between north and 33. That's pretty close. Alrighty. So I think, yeah, we're good. So I got the plane all started up, and rep only wants you to, you got to start up the right way, or it's not going to be happy with you. So let me check a couple of things here. Say weather.
Weather at Kilo Foxtrot Hotel uniform is clear. Visibility is 9 miles, winds are light and variable cloud coverage is clear. Current altimeter is 2997. Temperature 6 dew point -5.
Say active runway.
Arriving and departing runway 26.
Okay. 26 should be right here. So I wonder. let's go with frequency. I'm gonna try ground. Sierra Vista ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Sierra Vista ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, this is approach, go ahead.
Approach, would like VFR flight following from Kilo Foxtrot Hotel Uniform 2, Kilo Echo 95, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, roger.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, ready to taxi.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, this is Libby AAF ground count control approach on 127.05, please repeat your request.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, ready to taxi.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf taxi to runway 26 via taxiways Golf. Hold short runway 26.
Okay. So golf has to be down there. Yep. So I should have actually said Julia Golf. Making sure. Yep, that's the taxiway. So I'm using Pilot ATC, and if I don't get the phraseology correct, it just will not cooperate. So I'm on Juliet because that's the black with the J, and golf is this way. So. Okay, temperature looks okay. I got fuel. So we'll scoot up here a little bit.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf contact tower on 124.9 or 5. Have a good morning.
So I don't have everything quite set up automatically. Normally it would have done that. So we'll do it this way. Set COM1 standby 124.95.
COM1 standby set to 124.9 or 5. Golf contact tower on 124.9 or 5.
Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, ready for takeoff.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, winds are light and variable, altimeter 29 or 9 or 7, cleared for takeoff. Runway 26 squawk 1200.
Okay, we got 1200 in there. Six. Keep it right down the center of the runway here. Giving it a little bit of right rudder. Okay, rotate. Runway heading is 26, trying to keep it right down the runway for right now. It's a big, long runway. I think it's 12,000 feet. It's huge. So we wait until we're more than 500 feet above the runway before we make a turn. Trimmed up really nice. It's doing like about 85 knots climbing out of here, and certainly maintaining a runway heading here. So we'll go ahead. We're 500 feet and then some. So we'll go ahead and make a turn here, trying to get ourselves on the on our flight path. We got some mountains in between us and the next airport. So we're going to have to keep climbing to get ourselves up over these mountains. So she's coming back in. I straighten her up a little bit here. Trying to get ourselves on course. Looking pretty close. So I'm going to change my CDI to GPS. That put GPS there. And then nav again, that should be GPS. So if the plane's working correctly, it should be following the track. But for some reason it's not doing that.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, have a good one. Frequency change approved.
So I'm going to disconnect the autopilot and put it back on course. Try to figure out what I did wrong here. You look at flight plan. Definitely don't want to hit the mountains here trying to troubleshoot my problem. Looks like my climb is pretty good. I'm gonna try this one more time. Now. So it appears like I had not activated the leg, and because I hadn't activated the leg, it was not going to use it. So I'm going to level off right here because I'm pretty sure I'm above these mountains. So I'm going to take it back to about 2200 RPM. If I need to give me some elevation, I'll go ahead and do that. Doesn't look like I'm going to need to. So I'm going to switch this over to my sectional chart. Get rid of the frequencies. You can go a little bit more. Good. So I got my pilot to ATC. I switched it from, I was on satellite view, and I switched it to a sectional chart view. And so now I can actually watch my progress on the magenta line, just like I have in the GPS here. And in here you have to hit, first you have to have the CDI on GPS. You have to activate the leg. And then for the autopilot you have to click on nav and then click on nav again. and now it's on GPS steering. So, and different in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it has I think a King 140. I think it's what it is. That one, I'm not allowed to do what I'm doing right now. Right now, I am controlling my elevation myself, but the direction of where I'm going to the airport is being done by the autopilot. You can't do that. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, the autopilot in the same plane, Cessna 172 with steam gauges, once you click the autopilot on, it'll do the heading, but the altitude is all controlled by the autopilot. You cannot change it. Because I was doing this, and I kept moving the trim wheel. And then the trim wheel would move by itself. Well, why is it doing that? Because of the kind of autopilot, and I had to like Google it to find out the right information to know why it was doing what I was doing. So I just figured out the right procedure, and once I did, then I was like good to go. So we're gonna go find our next airport here. So if I'm over here, airports, and let's see where I'm going. E95. So 95. We got we got one runway, and it's 4,000 feet long, and it is. I have 10 and 28. I took off on 26, so I'm going to try for 28. So the heading indicator, I'm going to change that to probably 27, that'll be 28. And because I'm flying in GPS, this heading indicator doesn't care that I just moved it. I'm still flying on GPS, so. And where are we? So we're about 7 minutes out, and we are 11.8 nautical miles away. I am too high. Certainly looks like I'll be okay, so I'm going to push the yoke down a little bit and try to trim. So that should get me to descend a little bit. I could do it with the autopilot, but I choose to do it this way. So that'll basically pick up my airspeed, and I have to keep adjusting my power, because as I descend, and the airspeed increases, then my propeller's RPM is going to increase too. So basically, I'm heading kind of on a westerly direction, so I should actually be at 6,500. So I probably can I'm going to pull the power back right to 2,000 and let this guy descend. When I start to get close to 6,500, I'll flatten it out. And the cool thing is, more so in X-Plane, where I have like all kinds of tools in my cockpit to kind of help me do what I'm doing. So basically I have this program up here, it's called Avatar. But the VR cockpit is such a slick thing that you can put stuff wherever it's convenient to you, so. So hopefully we'll get down here quick enough. The most important part is I see the runway before the runway is before I'm at it. And so yeah, so we're coming down at about 400 feet a minute. That's just pretty good. like 3,800, so 4,800 or 5,000 feet is where I should be. And I'm actually low enough, close enough right now. Yeah, I'm under 10 miles, so there's no reason I can't continue to descend until about 5,000 feet. But I'll just be on the lookout for the airport, and once I see it, then I can line up. I have my heading indicator already adjusted, so I know that I have to make a left-hand turn. To get into actually, I'm not sure. When I get to 5 miles out, I'm going to take the autopilot off, and then I'll fly the airplane. Okay, we're in trim. Disconnect the autopilot. So now it's my airplane. So I wanted to see something. Correct. So the airport should be... I have to turn to my left when I see the airport. So far, I haven't seen it. Well, that was really weird. Man, that was weird. All of a sudden, I had a front move in here that really affected my visibility. Pretty sure it's right over there. But this was a bit of a surprise. Thank you. The weather's a disappointment. Yeah, it's a runway. See if I can get her down. planned on doing a touch and go, but I'm doing a full stop landing here. Sorry, give me a minute. Whoops. Stay off the grass, Bill. Come on. Oh, no. I'm out in Arizona. No need about snow. Yeah, this weather moved in, and I'm running real weather, and this weather moved in, so I gotta do a change to try to make this so I can finish my flight here. So I'm gonna go over to flight configuration. Woo, that was kind of scary. That's real world. Okay, I don't want that. Manually configured. Let's see if scattered works. Yeah, I didn't, when I looked at the weather this morning before I got ready, it said clear. So we'll see if I can get down here and take off again. Flaps up. Yeah, because I was just getting ready for approach, and I'm like, what just happened? Alrighty. Alrighty, let's get out of here. Find my flight plan here. There she comes. Oh, it should be on a track of about 47, so. Okay. Yeah, about ain't looking like it's going to. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll straighten itself out. I'm heading kind of, trying to look here, north, kind of east-like, so I should be on an odd, so I should be at, if I'm going to get over that mountain, looks like I need to be at 7,500, so, I'll just let it climb here. She's, I don't see any serious issues. She's climbing about 500 feet a minute. There's no, I shouldn't have any issues getting over that mountain. And she's on course now, and doing okay. Yeah, and I think, yeah, cloud should be okay, I think. I can always pause and make it better. But I like at least some clouds in the sky. I don't like just clear. That's pretty boring, so. But yeah, we're in southern Arizona. I spent about a year of my life here in the Sierra Vista area. I was stationed at Fort Huachuca. So you have Sierra Vista, you have Benson, you have Bisbee, you have Douglas. Bisbee's where there was a big, I think it's closed now. There was a huge copper mine there. Man, that thing was huge. It had to go, and it had to go a mile down in the ground. It was monstrous. And so all around Bisbee was all the, what do they call that? Tailings, I think it's what it's called. So all the dirt that got dug out of it's all around Bisbee. And so that was kind of an interesting place to go to. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I spent like about a year here. So Tombstone's out here, you know. So and my kids actually live in Phoenix. So yeah, so it's on electronics for the Army here at Fort Huachuca. So I learned more teaching than I did in the training that they sent me to. With the exception of they sent me to what was that? It was a 4-week or a 6-week course on learning how to teach. That was really great. It definitely, it's helped me through my life. I'm a retired electrician. I retired from Welch's, the grape juice company, and I was an electrician there. Electrician, PLC technician would be the right term. And so it helped me when I was training people to kind of read people so that you could tell, am I getting my point across, or do I better back up and find a different approach because this one ain't working? So it helped tremendously. No, they're not out. Well, I can look over here. They're not out. No, I pulled them out. I pulled them up when I was taxiing. So when I'm flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I do my flaps with voice, and I can get them up a lot faster with my touch controller than I can with voice in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So how far we got to go? So we got about 18 miles to go before we get to till we get to our final airport. So, and the weather looks like, I think it'll be acceptable, because the next airport, let me find it, P33, Cochise County. So its elevation is 4,000 feet, so I'll be 5,000 feet in pattern. So I had to get, I'm good here, pull the car back to 2200, and I'll just level off like right here, and once I get past these little mountains here, I'll go ahead and start getting probably lower. Oh, okay. Yeah, so my hardware is, I have a Fulcrum 1 yoke, and I have MFG crosswind pedals. And when I'm in X-Plane, everything else that I do here, let's turn this off. Everything else I do here, and I need that on, that on, that off. I think that's it. But everything else I can do with my touch controllers. So it is. Why did you come up? For some reason that's a little helper program that I wrote. It decides to kind of show up. I don't know why. It just does. And yeah, let me show you. It actually is pretty cool. Because we're in autopilot now. Yeah, okay. So basically when I started flying in X-Plane, you only have a couple of buttons on your controllers. So basically what this is, it's a whole bunch of buttons. So it's like you can make as many, I think I have 12 pages. So it's 12 pages of all these buttons. Okay. So all these buttons I can basically map and X-Plane to do something. So I don't think I've got the right, I don't have the right one here. This isn't my configured one, but it allows you to basically increase the amount of buttons that you have on your touch controller, on your VR touch controllers. Okay, looking good. Yeah, and no doubt about it, what I've done here in X-Plane is that I use a program called OVR Toolkit, and Ortho for XP. So basically, it allows you to create tiles that basically kind of improve the scenery as much as you can. But it's all for free. It just takes time to do. So for all the areas that I'm flying in now, I've actually done that. So the scenery looks probably better than it would in stock X-Plane. Yeah. I'm using the mic on the Reverb G2. And I also have some processing in the voice. So I have done a couple of videos, and then I always look at my vlog. So it seemed like it sounded okay to me, but I'm probably not the best judge. as long as good. That's my goal. My goal is to be sure that my voice is above the plane, so that I'm the one that's heard, but I want the plane to be heard also. So good. That is my goal. That is my goal. I want it to be immersive, and I try my darndest for it to be informative. So looks like we're going to come in on, so this here program is called Avatab. So it's kind of like a tablet that you can bring into your airplane. So basically I have the airport where I'm going to, the elevation, and the runways. So I think I'm going to do 2-1. So you have out of the way. So I'm going to set my heading indicator to 2-1. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. My heading indicator. So I'm going to set that to 2-1. Make sure I got that back about where it belongs. Yeah, I moved the wrong thing. Alrighty, so we are 8 miles out, and I am too high, so I'm going to pull power back, start descending. Kind of hard to see because of the haze, but there is a big lake. I can show it to you on this map. There's a big lake right over here to this side of the airport. So that's what you can see over there. So I'm just trying to get some elevation, get rid of some elevation. Yeah, 5,000. Yeah, so I need to get down to 5,000 feet, so. So we just pulled our power back. I'm at maybe, let's see, 15, 16, 17, about 1,800 RPM. So let's pull the power back and just let it descend. I'm 6 miles out. Should be plenty of time to get this figured out. And on this one, I'll be turning into a downwind. And once I get kind of close enough here, so. I'm trying to arrest the descent here. Just be getting me enough power to get level here. Right now I'm about 5,500, so I'm right at pattern altitude, and I'm a little over 4 miles out, so I'm kind of thinking that over here on my left is actually the runway. So I'm going to basically turn the autopilot off. Now it's my airplane. Yeah, it's got to be airport right over there. So I'm going to turn no, airport should be right in front of me. Whoop, descending a little bit here, Bill. Airport should be right in front of me. Am I lined up okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Okay. So it's got to be right straight in front of me. Just giving it enough power to, just trying to stay level right now, not descend. 2.5 miles out, but it's so hazy, it doesn't make it easy. But I'm just trying to make sure that my my digital gyro and my heading indicator are lined up. A couple of days ago I did this and they weren't. So I had a heck of a time on this runway. Oh, actually the runway's right in front of me. There it is. Okay, I'm high. At least that looks like I am. Yeah, our runway's right there. Kind of blended in. I know it said like, say 1.5 miles. It's kind of like, okay. So I'll get the power back here enough that I can get a notch of flats out. And so my heading indicator is clear in the bottom. So that means I'll be on the downwind. So I'm going to go a little bit wider here. And just to get myself lined up a little bit better. And try not to descend too much more quite yet. Okay. So I'll pull up on the yoke just a little bit. Then I'll get my airspeed down a little bit so I can get a notch of flat down. Cool. Everything looking fairly good. I'm a little tight to the runway here. I want to kind of try to ease myself out a little bit further. And actually that notch of flaps was a little early. I should not have put it out until I was basically at the numbers over in this end of the runway, but I'll work through it. And you always kind of like scan, especially out in this area, scan the area to make sure that there isn't like a mountain like on this approach, you know, that would kind of interfere with your pattern work. But in this case, the mountains are way away, and we're all good to go. So, not looking too bad. Looking back, I want to be about at a 45-degree angle from the end of that runway. And once I am, then I can basically turn to base. So, turn to base, trying to keep this and put one more notch of flaps on. And just trying to make this turn shallow. Just a standard rate turn. And trying to let it descend. So once this heading indicator lines up, I square it up. And I look and I should see the runway. I see the runway. So I start doing a slow turn into the runway. And trying to make sure I land on the runway, not the taxiway. Is not obvious, but I'm going to say this is the runway. Dump out the last notch of flaps. I am too high. So we'll have to see if we can recover this. Yeah, that looks like the runway. Okay, I'm good. Too high. Basically pull the power right back to idle. Coming in way steep. Way steep. So start braking my descent. Brake it. Brake it. Brake it. Okay. I'll give you a hard landing. I was too high. Come on, stay on the runway. I was too high, and so I brought it in. Yeah, 300. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So I could have slipped it, but I'm just not good at it. Yeah, it should have been better than that. I was too high. I should have paid more attention on the downwind where my elevation was, and I didn't. So there should be a taxiway up here, I think. Yes, there is. Okay. So this all went so much better. The last time I did this, I think it was on Tuesday. And what happened is on my very first landing, my yoke come free on my desk. And that was a bad landing there. basically my thing here that rates my landings, it said wasted. so I know what a wasted landing is, and that's what I got. So we're gonna come up here, and I'm gonna spin around these trees. Oh yeah, but I didn't realize it until I landed on this one, and then I felt the yoke like coming back towards me. So I have one hand on the yoke trying to hold it against the desk. The other hand I'm trying to pull back on the yoke to land. That was another wasted landing. It was hilarious. I deleted that VOD. I went, no, I don't want anybody to see that one. Okay, we're gonna spin around here, go past this tree here. Try to find this parking spot here. Alrighty. Come on. I'm over in the grass. Oh. Oh, that was funny. Turn. A little bit. Okay, we're good. Parking brake. Whoops. That was exciting. Parking brake. I had the mixture pulled out. So when I went to give it like full power, I was thinking it was because I was kind of off in the dirt a little bit. But no, it was because the mixture was pulled back to prevent the thing from fouling. Alrighty, so we made it here. Hey, everything went quite well. It's kind of cool. So, landing now, taxi. Okay. So, I think for today I'm going to call it a wrap. And, yeah. And like I said, like I use all this. Put the flaps up. So I don't use like any buttons on my yoke. I mean, I use a couple. I use one to make my yoke go on and off. And then I have a red button on the other side that's a push to talk. But quite frankly, those are the only buttons I use. Everything else I do with touch controllers. So, and it is why on Microsoft Flight Simulator, I am seriously adamant that they need touch controller support. I mean, the fact that you give it VR support, but you didn't think touch controllers were important. Who did you talk to? I mean, like I said, I've been flying in VR for 3 years, and streaming VR for a year. So, oh yeah, I'm glad you come along. Yeah, like I said, the last time I flew this one, yeah, it wasn't good at all. But I'm so glad you come along, because what I had planned on doing, and if the weather hadn't changed, I had planned on the previous airport to just do a touch and go, and but that didn't work out, so I had to regroup a little bit. But yeah, what I did, I picked all these routes and I flew them in Microsoft Flight Simulator using my Valve Index. I did that last week, and then this week I had planned on doing the same with X-Plane, just to see the difference in the terrain and that kind of stuff. And yes, Microsoft Flight Simulator, the scenery, it's all better. There's no doubt about it. But the usability of the VR, which is the experience I want, isn't the same. It is much more immersive in X-Plane, but it isn't as pretty. That's the difference. So, but I'm just having fun, and that's, you know, kind of that's the goal of my streams, is to have fun. And I used to kind of just fly real close to the area where I live. Yeah. I used to just fly in the area where I lived, and I'm finding it more exciting and interesting. Basically, flying to airports that I have never ever flown to in real life, and trying to figure out how do you get lined up for the airport, how do you pick the runway. There's an airport coming up in a future stream that basically you fly down, you're up in the mountains and you're high, and this runway is at least 3,000 feet below where you're flying at. So you have to fly down, and you have to make a left-hand turn to get to the runway. And to the left of that runway is a mountain. I mean, it is it may be 500 feet away from the runway. It's like, and I just come in there blind. I had never flown there before, and it was kind of like, can you pull this off? I'm coming in at like 1,500 feet a minute, and you could go around going straight, but you can't make a left-hand turn. That is not going to happen. And so I come in at 1,500 feet a minute, kind of just did similar to what I did coming in here, and just tried to break the speed, and I actually landed quite well. So that was seriously exciting. So, but that's in an upcoming stream that I'll be flying to that airport again, this time in X-plane. So, but pretty cool. Alrighty, so let me think here. I gotta get the avionics off, and then we can pull back the mixture. Cool. So I got all my switches off here. Okay. So I'll my next stream probably, I think it's going to be tomorrow. I got some errands I got to run, and so I think my next stream will probably be tomorrow, probably about the same time, probably about 11, and I don't have the flight plan right with me to know where I'm going next, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off from this airport, and then I'm going to 3 other airports. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take off from this airport, do a touch and go to the next airport, and then land at the last airport. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm just doing similar things to what I did in Microsoft Flight Simulator, just to look at the differences and all that stuff. The weather was a little bit of a surprise, but hey, we worked through it. No big deal. So, I think I'm good. So when do I get here? Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But Shop, you got any more questions, or are you good? I'm gonna call it a day then, and like I said, I'll be streaming tomorrow at about 11 o'clock. Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks for riding along. It's always much more. When I'm like doing a final or something, I may ignore chat just a little bit, and but I appreciate anybody that comes in chat. I absolutely do. So I may not pay attention right on a final, but if I'm in a pattern, no, I'll interact with chat. No, there is no doubt in my mind. I've done that ever since I've streamed in VR. I'm that comfortable flying an airplane that I can do that. On final, that's a whole different story. I'm pretty focused. So, sounds good. You have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by.